Let's do this. Carry on. There were many fruits, fine fruits. Sudais, you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay. كانت فواكه جدا. Fine as جدا. Yeah, Hasanan, you want to use any?
Jiddan means many. You could
Okay,
say,
fine is Hasan.
okay, Hasan, okay, just say Jamilatun. Ratun. So adjective, so it's feminine singular because of fawakihu. Jamilatun, fine.
Okay, جميلة.
Okay.
في
My garden is
جنوهه something like
Junainati or Bustani.
جنينتي or في بستاني. But is like لكن.
Yes, I think it's not mentioned
Yeah.
in the vocabulary, but it's lakin.
لكن الولد أولاد. Boys is أولاد. الأولاد.
The boys of the village have entered.
Yeah, the boys of the village. So we will say there's a mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So we will say like أولاد.
Okay, so what we mentioned first,
قريتي.
we mentioned the verb first.
Okay.
Normally,
Okay.
dakhala,
دخل.
have entered it. So have entered it.
دخلها.
Okay,
Because
dakhalaha. Yeah.
دخلها.
So they entered it. So then we say all the boys of the village. So how do you say that's the subject?
أولاد القرية.
Uladil.
أولاد.
Ulabadi ulada.
Because entered it. The boys entered it. So the boys should be like لكن أولاد.
Lakin
أولاد.
dakhalaha uladul qaryati. The boys of the village have entered it in the night.
في
Fil layli.
في الليل وخذوا
Akhadha is the verb.
So has taken and taken them were في ليل خذ
No, it's not who's
أخذوا.
Yes, it's plural, right? Because it's plural. There are many of them. Akhadhu. We don't say akhadha means he take. Akhadhu. Them is he what? Them is refers to fruits. Fruits for wakihu is broken plural. So we say akhadhuha. Akhadhuha. Okay.
Yeah.
They became sad when they heard the news. Okay, so when he says he said, it tells you to use his speech. So qawluhu or qawlahu depend on whether it's subject or object. They became sad. You could do that yourself. When is lamma we said or indama, the cloth of the garments is very old. So this is just mudaf and mudaf alayhi, and then it's like a nominal sentence. You just use the word for old. It is my grandmother's clothes, so it is the subject. My grandmother's clothes is the object. So here is just mudaf alayhi. Jaddati is going to be at the end. Kumash, you could work here yourself. The soldiers found the enemy and took them prisoners. So you start off with the verb. How do you say find? Right, and what's the subject? Who found? The soldiers found. Soldiers is the subject, and the enemy is the object. And then we say wa, and then you said took them. And when you say took them prisoners, so how do you it's not akhadhu here. To take prisoners is asara, and we're gonna use, because there's no object subject of it, we're gonna use the plural form wa asaru. The women were in wore the white cloths when the men returned. So we start off with the verb again, wore. We're going to use the verb for wore. Then the white is the adjective of clothes. So we can say their clothes, their clothes, and use white afterwards as adjective. And then again, lamma, when the man returned.
I know that.
Number 10, Cairo is the largest city. Okay, that's it's going to be in the Arab East. So it's going to be Al-Arabi Al-Sharqi. These ships have been mine since the days of your father. So since is munzu. So we're going to use munzu. So it's these ships were. It's where's it gone? These ships have been. So this is past tense. So we're going to use the verb to be, and the sheep is going to be the subject. These sheeps have been mine. So you're going to use for mine. You're going to use li. So li is for belonging. And then just you could do yourself. Each scholar took an apple. So each scholar. So the rule comes in. What we done? Kullu or jami kullu, and what we use just singular genitive or plural genitive. This is to look in the earlier recording if you didn't understand, or look at the book. Took an apple. So it's not says just apple, an apple. So make it singular. And 2 dates. Use the dual. And need to know it should be accusative because it's the object, right? So you don't say tamratani. From the fruits of the school garden. So mudaf here. What have you done to this fish? The soldiers rode their horses. So again, just make sure. Okay, this you could do yourself, and captured it. To capture it, we've done it before. Is fataha. It means to open or conquer. Or you could say akhadha as well properly. And just make sure when there's no subject after the verb, you agree the verb with the number. They killed and left the young. Okay, there were lights. So here all of them comes into play. You need to go back to the notes and see what how do you say all of them. The rest, I think you could do yourself, inshallah. I think just because we're taking it's gone quite late, so that's why I've kind of summarized and gave you tips on how to do those various questions, inshallah. I hope that makes sense. That's all. Any questions?
Great deal offer. What is that?
Sorry?
Number 18, great deal offer.
The wives had demanded great deal of work. So just we make the work as the mawsuf, like the qualifying word, and then you make the great deal, like mean lots of work, as the adjective.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay. That's all from me, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan.
Okay, shukran.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.